We're good.
And while the update hits by the government at the same time. when they want it.
It's not like working from your, what kind of deck. With the trees instead of being. All right, thank you guys for coming. I see it's standing room only. Welcome to the Board of Education regular meeting, that's Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. And stand for the-
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody for public forum?
Hi, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the board for the conference day breakfast assortment that was provided. It was a nice way to start our year and fuel the day, and many staff members expressed gratitude personally for that. So thank you guys. On the first day of school, the staff also received a first aid survival kit, and this was also really appreciated, and many of the staff members expressed gratitude for that as well. I'd like to congratulate the Faculty Association for being featured in the September-October edition of the magazine NYSEC United has that they publish each quarter, for helping to organize the food distribution event this summer. It showed our community that we are here for them, especially during these tough times. I'm very grateful for the members for giving up their personal time during the summer, and a special shout out to Ryan Kendrick for adding his voice for the article. In other good news, the Taconic Hills Art Department was awarded first place for grades 6 through 12 at the Columbia County Fair for the second year in a row, not including last year because it didn't happen. One of our students, Ava Frederick, also won an individual artist award for a beautiful Hudson Valley landscape painting that she completed in my drawing class. All of the participating pieces are currently on display in the pieces throughout the high school atrium, and I encourage you to take a walk around the atrium to view these incredible pieces of art. On a sadder note, I'm sure you've noticed from the board agendas, they've lost some amazing educators. While we have filled their positions with enthusiastic educators with fresh energy for sure, we can never truly replace the people who have left or the impact they've had on students. I'm very sad to see them go, as many of them I would consider to be friends. As union president, I'm concerned with retaining educators who have worked hard to build this community, serving as mentors, coaches, and leaders in the school. And it's troublesome to me that these people who were so invested in Taconic Hills community would be so here. And that's all. Thank you for your time.
All right. Motion for the acceptance of the agenda. Joe, Craig. Second. Now, acceptance of the consent agenda. Craig, second. Any questions?
No, we're sadly still needing bushes for damage. As of right now, yeah, we can consolidate with one other situation.
The agriculture teacher position.
With one,
Okay, so there were
yeah, you have two, and
one like there's a new.
well, it's an interesting situation because it's a CTE position. There is no tenure in there. There is no certification. So what we were doing was trying to fill it at least for a year as we still look for a CTE certified, person. So this is the same with all school districts. You can't pick a school district right now that is not looking for, a fax teacher, technology teacher, an ag teacher, someone who can be certified in CTE meet state requirements. Very difficult.
So we abolished one position or?
Yeah.
Okay.
The advanced kids that can't take class, is there an opportunity for them to take something?
Not at this time. We're still working on some options, so, but at this point, I'm not hopeful. They've already started classes, and it's very difficult at this point.
Sorry, I'm late.
There are any questions about
Oh, no.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Report. Okay, school started. The kids are very enthusiastic. The faculty and staff are very enthusiastic. We're doing okay. There's been a few hiccups. We're working through them, but overall, concern with COVID is still high, and we do have a couple of cases that we're working through, and some people on quarantine, but we're doing okay. If you're following the newspaper, some other local school districts are having a much more difficult time. So we do have a fair number of our staff that are vaccinated, and we're continuing to encourage them to be vaccinated. We think that's the safest way for everyone to come back and to participate in sports. The county and the county school districts agreed today that they were going to make vaccines mandatory for high-risk sports, so that's basketball, wrestling, and volleyball. And I expect our fleet to follow tomorrow as a region. I think we just happen to have a meeting first. So the county health department wants us to do this, and they don't want to cancel seasons, and they don't want to close down the school district because of any type of COVID infection rate. So they're encouraging us to move ahead with this. Let's see. Yeah.
Why isn't football doing this?
Because it's winter only right now. Winter. The fall sports, they're already started. They're about a third of the way through, and it would be too disruptive to schedule to just kind of throw that on people. Now, I will tell you, the Capital District schools, Bethlehem, Niskayuna, Guilderland, they did do something like that. Okay, they went ahead just before school started, and they said, we're in a red zone according to the CDC, or transmission rate, and the rules by the CDC are you cancel the program or you get a vaccine. So when it comes to liability, if a child did happen to get infected here and someone was able to file a suit and prove that, we would have very little to defend ourselves with, because we have not followed exactly as the CDC guidance says. So the county would like us to move in that direction to cover ourselves so that we do have some protection if something like that ever occurs.
So what happens if there is an adverse reaction to the vaccine, and that age group, in males especially, has a higher risk of cardiomyopathy? How is that documented, and what's our liability?
So they're telling me that the liability is much greater if we don't do something than if we, it's much greater if we don't take this action than if we have this action taken. So when I guess that they look at the statistics, they're very comfortable with the vaccine in the age groups from 12 plus.
So leaving the option open to vaccinate for football at a later time.
Well, kids can always, I've got a list of kids on the football team that are vaccinated.
Start required.
We don't, at this time, we do not plan on making it mandatory, but
I thought
I'm
you
not
said
gonna
that
allow,
our liability is high.
the liability is high,
But we are testing.
but we are testing, we're testing twice a week right now. So that gives us some protection, but not what they are recommending.
Why we decided to go against the recommendation.
We didn't decide to go against it. They released it very late in the year, late in the summer. So in order to give people, to be fair to people, you have to give them some leeway, just like the SUNY kids, just like the CUNY kids. They give them a certain amount of time to be able to go ahead and make preparations. The parents talk to the doctors and plan appropriately.
Nice, but it's not.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they started practice. They won the first game against Rensselaer, 34-0. The game Thursday night, and we did Waterloo at Waterloo. Okay. Back to kind of our vaccines. We have approximately 304 full-time employees, and around 70% have received the vaccine, both shots, or in case Johnson & Johnson 1. We are getting parents requesting that their teachers be vaccinated. They want to be only in the vaccinated class. Our attorneys are saying that we can't do that. But I know some parents are talking about that. The county is averaging between 10 and 15 cases a day. Some of them are breakthrough cases, but they're talking a lot about viral loads. And a vaccinated person has a much lower viral load than an unvaccinated person who has contracted the virus. And that's when it spreads most efficiently. So every week we're having 1 or 2 meetings, talking, discussing what the best approach is to keep kids in school. Number one thing, kids need to be in school. And that's our guiding principle on everything. And it's going to be difficult. We do have small classes. I know some other school districts have taken a slightly different approach, but we have a lot of space here. We're using all of our space, and we're trying to relax some of the things in the halls. So I think we're doing well right now. So just keep our fingers crossed, knock on wood, and if we can continue like this, we'll be okay.
Neil, I understand the need to give people, time to make a decision regarding vaccination for the child when they're participating. It seems to me that regardless of whether a sport has started, that if we were to set a target date, because what we're saying is there's 2 standards.
Well, there's
And
probably
the
3 or
sports,
4.
what's that?
There's probably 3 or 4 standards.
Yeah.
And this includes the drama and other extracurricular activities as well, which is a negotiation going on right now with the Shakespeare Company. So the bottom line is, I need consensus from Columbia County and from Questar. If we go out and do things alone, we're going to be hammered to death.
Well, no, I understand that, and I would say this is for everyone that's in consideration. You have overlapping activities. So the football season overlaps with the wrestling season and the volleyball season.
I'm not so sure about that, but
Yeah, no. Well, when does wrestling start?
I don't know.
Because it seems that whenever these sports start, if there's an overlap with another sport that doesn't have the same criteria, then we're actually in more of a liability issue. And we're not taking the same stance. We're saying it's okay for this activity, but it doesn't apply to this activity during the same period of time. Because I do recognize that people need time, and even if you were to vaccinate today, you're not going to be completely vaccinated if you're doing one of the 2-dose
So
series per month.
Let me, I'm not sure I understand, but you're saying sports, regardless of the activity, should be vaccinated?
No, I'm saying if there are sports that are considered high risk,
Yes,
and football clearly seems to be one of them.
yes, outdoors. So when you talk about being outdoors, now at Waterville Elite School, the kids are going to be masked playing football. That's one of their rules up there that they decided.
So
We don't have that rule here for outside. I would say or argue that is not what the CDC said was you could do, or is a benefit.
I don't
So-
think we're, any of us, you, me, or member or teacher qualified to have a real opinion about what's right and what's wrong. We should be following the recommendations of the CDC.
Should I, no, I'm not gonna ignore the Columbia County Health Department.
They're saying, don't wear masks for football.
No, they're saying
they're
it's a
saying,
local,
okay, that's
they're
it.
saying it's a local decision. And that's basically, that's what they're saying. But if we start to go too differently than what other schools are doing, you put yourself in a vulnerable
And the other
position.
Columbia County schools are not included football.
Pardon me?
The other Columbia County schools are not included football. or-
They are playing football, they are not masked for football.
And they're not
The
vaccinated.
CDC says outside, you do not need to wear a mask.
And the other Columbia County districts are not requiring vaccination for football. Is that correct?
At this time, they are not, and they've all agreed that for the fall sports, the high-risk sports of boys volleyball, of wrestling, and of basketball, that they will do that. The language is being worked out right now, and I believe Questar, as a region, is going to make that decision tomorrow morning.
And actually, you said something when you were speaking that made me realize you're talking about sports that are indoors versus outdoors also.
There's a lot of breathing that goes on in cross-country races. It's outside. They decided that it's not necessary, even though there's a lot of breathing. Football outside, it's not necessary. Girls volleyball, now, they say it's high risk, and that's inside,
Yeah.
they have to wear masks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm understanding that one of the differences between the sports is they're indoor sports versus outdoor sports. And there's certainly a difference from inside as to potential risk exposure.
The other caveat that I just want everybody to be aware of is that the new governor has made a lot of statements and the president has made some statements, and we're trying to figure out exactly what that means. Okay, so, they want staff to be tested or get the vaccine. So how do you do that? And there's a great deal of disagreement about how to achieve those particular goals. And the basic one is there is a shortage of tests on the East Coast. So I can't test people if I don't have the test. This is something that we're trying to work through right now.
So the test involves either, what kind of test are we doing?
So currently, our student athletes of high risk are doing an antigen test.
They are doing that.
Yes, we are supposed to get 2 molecular machines, testing machines, from the county at an undetermined in the future time. And then we will be able to do more surveillance testing and point of care testing.
And no saliva test, you have to do saliva test.
We're not doing the saliva test.
Thank you.
But it sounds loud. I think I need to- Sorry.
No, thank you. I was close.
And we're having a problem with the computer. guys.
Next, audit committee, Joseph Costa, audit committee chairperson.
So we just met with Patricia and our external audit complete draft report issued today. Audit committee met with Ms. Brennan from Victor, Audit is clean and there are no district findings. Report will be released to full board and accepted in October after its presentation by Victor. Our school tax collections update, 11% collected to date, at 2.6 million. 52% collected by lockbox, 47% online payments. Approximately 24,000 collected by tax collector. Copay Key Bank is not accepting in-person payments again this year. Our next meeting dates are December 15th, March 16th, and May 25th. Thank you.
Buildings and parks. Okay, I apologize. There's a beach from 3K through 6 elementary school.
Good evening. So today we completed our 6th day of school, and we are all happy to have the students back, and the students seem very happy to be back. All of the faculty and staff have done a really wonderful job of trying to make things as normal as possible as we're still working in a COVID world. Tomorrow night is our open house, which is going to be done virtually, and we look forward to having a good showing.
7 through 12, junior, senior high school, James Burnett.
It's, as Mary said, it's just great to have the kids back. It's, the halls are filled with kids, most of the time 3 feet apart. Our cafeterias are being used again, and, you know, there's so many different things going on. There's lots of good things. Of course, when you get a full house of students, discipline problems pick up a little bit, but we're finding those as actually good opportunities again to teach kids. I mean, every discipline problem is an opportunity to help kids learn on how to relate to others and how to handle situations and handle stress. So we're dealing with a few issues. Some are outside things on the internet, and some are things that are kind of spilled over from years, but we're making good progress on those. It is tough to lose out on some of the opportunities, which was mentioned before, that we weren't able to find that Spanish teacher despite looking under every stone, you know, in the entire area, just trying to find something. But students are missing out on that somewhat. We covered as much as we could. We had to manipulate some things with the lack of an additional CPE or technology teacher. But I think we've worked out the schedule really good to maximize the opportunities for the students. I can report that I'm really thrilled that we're able to offer our construction class this year for the first time with our technology teacher, Mr. Sanders, teaching it. Kids who are going into that class, all 18 of them that I met with yesterday, are thrilled because they just want to build something. And who better to do that with than Mr. Sanders, who's developed a good following and through you know, the board's actions have been able to purchase some equipment that now we're going to be able to utilize a little bit more. We're also trying to, well, we're living in a COVID era, and kids have adapted, and I think our programs have adapted. Neil mentioned that we're working with Shakespeare and Company to get our students back over to Lenox, Mass. We had the first meetings with the directors. We're moving forward with the program. We just got to iron out a few of the details in terms of the kids going over to Massachusetts and how that works out. Our senior class is hosting their fundraising fall chicken barbecue. They're going to do it as a drive-through this year on homecoming weekend. And we've got lots of homecoming events that we're going to just try and bring back some of the old things, work through the details to make them safe for our students, and make this as, I won't call it a normal year, but make this a really good school year for our seniors and the other students coming through. It's been a good start. Thanks.
I have a question. You find the block scheduling works better than what we had before?
I think the block scheduling works in a lot of ways. You know, most of the surveys that we've taken and the talks that we've had with kids, the students are more in favor of this because for some reasons it cuts them down to just 4 classes per day. rather than having to worry about, for some students, 8 or 9 different classes, where it's kind of tough to keep track of things over that time. Last year, we certainly noticed that it cut down on some of the discipline problems. And despite having everybody back, I think it contributes to that environment also right now, because there's less transitions. The students moving in the hallway are a little bit less at the same time. We offered some training. Sandra set it up. Henry delivered some of the training on September 7th to help our teachers, get more used to this and develop some good methods to do it. We're certainly not the first, we're not the last to do this, and it'll be a growing process, but I think it's going to show in the results on helping our academics too, to have that longer period of time to dig deeper into things instead of brushing through things at a 40-minute time each day. Thanks, Mark.
Instruction and staff development, Sandra Gardner.
So I'd like to spend my time tonight just chatting with you a little bit about the agenda on for this week's meeting. Certification pathway, we had our open forum meeting last night. We had a handout that's double-sided one page that kind of goes through that process. And there's some people I'd like to thank publicly, both Joe and Terry were the Board of Education representatives. And they met with me and have had this in our discussion for probably about 6 months. And prior to that, the big pusher for this has been Brad Boyle, the content coordinator for career and technical education. And he and I have been working on it over a few years period of time with the CTE teachers involved also. At this point, we had the community forum. And I was happy that we had 21 attendees on our Zoom last night, which was a record number for that committee. So we had our state representatives have never had such a large team for this. So really pleased with the community support, which includes parents and community members for right representation and teachers as well as administrators. So, if you have any questions about this, I'd certainly be glad to answer them, but I think it really does open more opportunities for all students.
I just want to say thank you. You did a fabulous job. I think the community is going to benefit tremendously from this, and the kids are going to benefit tremendously from that. That's a wonderful program, so thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
I just want to piggyback on Joe's report about tax collection, and we may have heard a little bit about this in the community. The tax bill went out on August 31st to the Grayville Post Office, as they usually do. But we started getting calls probably about 5 days ago from residents saying they had not received their bills yet. So after about a dozen of those calls, we contacted the post office, and normally the local bills would stay right here in Perryville and go into mailboxes. And apparently all of our bills went to Newburgh for processing, even the local ones. So they are still trickling into mailboxes now from Newburgh. So Eileen's doing a really great job fielding those calls, emailing copies to residents, mailing them new copies. I think Rick even took one, hand-delivered one to a senior citizen for us that didn't have the ability to get here. So one of the things we're a little concerned about is that folks are going to start contacting us asking for an extension to pay their taxes because their bill was a week or more late. And just so you are aware, there is no mechanism in the law for me, for the superintendent, to use the Board of Education to establish any kind of grace period or waiver or extension of time. So, the bills are available every year at the same time. They were available online immediately on August 31st. So, we are also directing people and showing people how they can get that information, pay them online, maintenance charge free. Those online payments are way up again this year. So I just wanted to make you aware of that in case you're hearing some of that out in the public. There was definitely an issue with the post office this year.
Just one thing to check. I only got my bill yesterday.
Right.
But I paid it, I think, on September 1st, because it was online.
Available.
And it's really the fact that it's such a prominent place on the website. You can't miss it. It's made it very, very easy.
Right.
I think earlier, someone said 47%.
Oh, the, online payments, yeah. Yeah, about half of the 2.6 million that's been collected so far, so, yeah.
Right. How does that reflect in terms of the overall tax bill?
Well, because we have collected about $2 million less at this point compared to last year, we're not really comparing apples to apples. But it's definitely up. Last year was the first year we saw such a big jump. And you may recall that we stopped using or offering American Express and Discover because of fees that were involved. We have not had any pushback on that at all. You know, we messaged that really early that it was only Mastercard and Visa, but folks are very appreciative that they can pay online, you know.
It's airline miles.
What's that?
They get their airline miles.
On another note, Phil, but there's other people that get their tax bill for years, 2 weeks after the first, because of the mail anyway, so they've just been privileged to be able to get it locally quick. But there's other taxpayers that get it the second week, and they don't get, so you could kind of mention that to them, that there's other people that always get it the second week.
And it happens the other way too. You know, we stopped collecting at the end of October, but every year there are bills that come to us end of November, beginning of December, people paying checks. And so we acknowledge a postmark. So as long as it's postmarked correctly, we can accept it. But, you know, it goes both ways. There's timing issues.
Piggyback off of what Mary and Jim had said, our special education teachers and faculty have done a great job assimilating the students back into school, especially our kindergartners and preschool students who didn't know what they were walking into. So thank you very much for everyone for doing that.
Building and grounds, Rick Smith.
Yeah, I just want to echo that it's great to see everybody back in person this year and see the building full. That does translate to a busy time for our department. And my staff has been doing a great job of getting around and helping people make some finishing touches in the classrooms and tweaking some things. So everybody's been working hard and we're just going to keep plugging along.
I didn't hear a comment about all the bathroom being unlocked or something. Did you hear about this? Okay, this is, I don't, Sybil, you are, or Nick, I don't know.
You have to, I'm not all that up on my TikTok trends, so maybe someone else can take this one.
Sybil, you
Mr.
are-
Hollinger.
Oh, let Henry take this one. Yeah.
Hollinger.
Well, it has a pretty disgusting name, but anyway, there's a new trend on TikTok where students in high school, in particular, middle school and high school, come into school and they either steal property, which includes soap dispensers, fire extinguishers, anything that they can get their hands on, and then returning it either the next day or a couple of days later, but still do that. But what's more disturbing is the trend involves vandalism, involves damaging property, taking pictures of that damaged property, or even video done through the process of damaging property and posting it on TikTok. So that is the new trend. We've addressed that issue in all of our class meetings that we've held so far, and then our class meeting should be concluded by the end of this week. So students are aware that we are aware of the trend on TikTok, and that we are being very vigilant about making sure that we check areas such as bathrooms on a consistent basis.
I think you need to find something else to do. Bathroom door locks are your thing.
They're finding different ways to do it. And one of the interesting things Henry mentioned, our first two class meetings today, we mentioned it, and this just says a lot about students of that age. Just mentioning it, I would say probably 80 to 90% of the students immediately started laughing that they knew exactly what we're talking about. So even if these students aren't participating, they're spending an awful lot of time swiping through TikTok and watching some of these things, so.
That is not how I learned all.
Civil is the one.
My Googling skills.
Yeah.
But you know, we've had a lot of break-ins at Copake Park all summer, for the kids just breaking into the bathroom. We're putting up security cameras, but
Well,
I
this
didn't-
could be why.
like, what are they, no, why, what are they getting?
They're getting notoriety when they share their pictures with their friends. They're getting likes. I found out because my son Mikey came home and he said, the bathroom's full, locked all done. I'm like, I immediately checked him for a fever. There's a really big line in the bathroom. Evidently, that cool wood.
What they're getting is occasionally 200 boys having to share the same bathroom for a little while, because we have to lock down the other ones, and that's not the desired outcome for these kids, I believe. Nick's guys are doing a great job getting things cleaned up, and we're investigating, trying to catch the perpetrators, of which we've done on some of it, but we'll do whatever we can to snuff it out.
So it's a little harmless, but it's a little destructive.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it's also very time consuming. Today we spent some time investigating a certain incident, and it took us all day to investigate. So it's pretty time consuming to get it done, but we're vigilant.
So that was kind of an interesting answer to your question, right?
That went deeper than I thought.
Welcome.
I don't think we're gonna think that was too long, and that would have been the end of it, but no, okay. That's the month. Transportation, Rich Keyron.
Good evening. So we are also up and running. Everybody's driving. We have things smoothing out right now quite well. We did undergo a couple of afternoons of some glitches, and I think it's due to a similar thing that Civil mentioned with the tax bills. We sent out every parent's transportation information on the 1st of September. And as of yesterday morning at 11, they were still stuffing mailboxes in the Prairieville post office on mail that was coming back from Newburgh. So when my initial response on the first afternoon with the 100 swarming kids saying, "What bus do I go on?" was a little bit of angst towards the parents about why didn't you tell your kids what bus they were on, when in fact the parents didn't know. So I think we've recovered from that, and we're doing well. We're running 25 in-district bus routes, and we're running 15 out-of-district and special bus routes, which are servicing probably around 25 different schools. So things are going all right, and we'll keep moving.
No chance of bringing the National Guard into the.
Not yet, but I wonder if they all have licenses,
That's what I was thinking. the other day.
or don't they need it?
They have no there. Technology, John Dye.
I am here. Like everyone else, we're busy keeping things going, and laptops are pretty well delivered out. I'm still letting the dust settle in to give you an exact count, but looks like everyone's got them, and databases are getting updated, and we're just chugging along, getting it ready.
Thanks, John. Cafeteria, Sam.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Tonight's tasting is some oven-baked chicken with macaroni and cheese that's in the corner over there, which is what we served for lunch today. Our breakfast is booming. We're doing about 400 breakfasts a day, and they keep increasing. And lunches are going really well, and we're adapting to having serving lines and also delivering to classrooms for the younger grades. But everybody's working hard, and it's going pretty smooth. Okay?
You get free breakfast for everybody, right?
Yes.
Why do you think we're on page 100?
So you get home and, you know, if they do the second breakfast, and it's available to them.
Sorry?
How does that, how does 400 compare to last year?
It's a lot better than last year. We have carts set up, 3 different carts set up, and we're using the concession stand, so when students come in off the bus or if they're dropped off, it's available to them. They don't have to put their numbers in, they can just take it. So.
We started this, pre-focus.
Well, I think it waxes money.
We have no old business at this time. Business. A, approval, of Connersville Central School Building, Federal School Emergency Response and District-wide safety plan for the year. Joe, second. Any questions?
That's the same plan that we would be with the current.
Yes, it is. Confidential.
Okay, school adopted new hours.
We didn't vote on
All in favor? School adopted new hours as need evaluator, principal, effective September 15, 2021. And most. Terry, second, Heidi. Any questions? All in favor? The approval of FFA members and students, the FFA National Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. Heidi, second, Bill.
I have a question. Who's gonna be leading the SFA book now?
Senator's going to
Oh, okay.
take them out.
I have a question also, because I know we've approved this before, but I'm not sure, looking at the attachment, if we were also not only approving the attendance, but the expenses related to it.
So I would say yes. We are approving these.
And is that what we've done in the past? I thought there was.
Well, how many, what were the expenses?
So, the cost is, $575 for each student. Each student has paid $200 deposit into the FFA checking, paying the remaining cost, and the chaperone cost is $675. And, I believe that this is paying for that.
That's pretty similar to what we did last year.
That's all, man. I couldn't remember. I remember there being a discussion. Maybe it wasn't about that, maybe it was when we were traveling.
Last time I actually paid my chaperone cost. Last time I paid my chaperone cost, this time we paid it. I had a child with my own brother.
All in favor? The approval of 2 additional CEU programs and studies in the content areas of agriculture and business education. Motion, Larry, second, Joe. Any questions? All in favor? Acceptance of insurance proceeds in the amount of $2,371 from the August 6, 2021 accidental damage AV equipment. Motion. Dave, second. Bill? Any questions?
What was that again?
John? What was that damage?
We have a kiosk in the high school cafeteria that was hit and the TV was broke before it even turned on.
I'm sorry, what was what? Oh, okay. It was an accident.
I didn't see
Or
a
is it on-
video.
Sticking to that story. Any, all in favor? Okay, no. F, the new, item, approval of the disposal of various library books. Motion. Joe, Dave, second. Any questions?
They're just worn out. Fine, still, pages, missing, gone, so.
All in favor? Okay, no. Anybody for the public forum?
additional items to discuss at this time? Yeah, I've got two things here. I want to bring to your attention the sort of draft calendar, but sort of not draft calendar. It's placeholders here on different committees and different meetings that are going to be held. So just wanted you to familiarize yourself with this, and there might be some changes, and they are notified by email. But wanted to take a look at this and see what you think, and then get back to Bonnie with any type of questions or comments. Okay. The other thing is New York State School Boards Convention. They, I think we talked about this often for the just for me. Okay, so the New York State School Boards Association conference in New York City. It's going to be mandatory that you have at least one of the vaccines. So we're going to need to know if that changes anybody's mind by 9/20 in order to get back our deposits and to make the appropriate arrangements for people to occur, or for people to be able to participate and go. They're going to accept the CDC vaccine card, a New York City COVID State Pass, with a New York State Excelsior Pass. At this time, there is not a mask mandate, but they are going to follow the mayor's recommendations for at least one of the COVID shots. So if you could get back to me, those that were going, if that changes your mind, for September 20th, by September 20th, we'll have enough time to get a full refund. That, of course, is always important to the district.
Neil, I was just looking over the calendar. There's a policy meeting in April that's falling between spring break, and I have written for April, the week before the 20th.
Okay, we can correct it. Could you give a quick email, please?
Sure.
I have a question to the legislative committee. I wanted to invite some members, like Dr. Jordan or whatever. Is it available to be on Zoom as well? Or
We
whoever?
can certainly do that. I have an account. So we can talk about how to do that, how to have her an option to participate.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
people out of the area if they wanted to participate.
No, I see no reason why. we
Okay.
can't do that.
I just wanted to know before.
No, that's it. Good. No, the situation has slightly changed, so I do not think we need an executive session. To our favorite part, the adjournment. I have a motion, please. Bill, Ken, all in favor? Everybody,